We've all been there. One minute you're sailing the high seas, the next you're staring out at a deserted beach, wondering what the heck to do next. Well, panic not, my friends. Being stranded might seem like the end of the world, but with the right knowledge and a healthy dose of grit, you can survive and even thrive until you're back home. We're about to dive into the top 10 survival techniques you need to master. These skills are essential for anyone venturing into the wild, so pay close attention because this information could one day save your life. Right, first things first. We need to address the most critical element, water. Without it, survival becomes nearly impossible. Water is the essence of life, and finding a reliable source should be your top priority in any survival situation. Out here, dehydration is your worst enemy. The human body can only go so long without water before it starts to shut down. Symptoms of dehydration include dizziness, confusion, and extreme thirst. And if you start feeling any of these, it's a sign that you need water immediately. Remember the rule of threes: 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. This rule highlights just how crucial water is for your survival. While you might be able to go without food for a while, water is non-negotiable. You can last a lot longer if you can secure a good water source. Finding water can be a game changer in a survival scenario. It not only keeps you hydrated, but also boosts your morale, giving you the strength to keep going. Start by looking for any fresh water streams or rivers flowing through the island. These are often the most reliable sources of clean water. Follow the sound of running water and keep an eye out for signs of animal tracks, as they often lead to water sources. If you're lucky enough to find one, get down on your hands and knees and take a long, much-needed drink. But remember, even if the water looks clean, it might still contain harmful bacteria or parasites. Remember to boil the water or use a water filter if you have one to eliminate any harmful bacteria. Boiling water for at least 1 minute is a surefire way to kill any pathogens. If you have a portable water filter, use it to make the water safe to drink. No flowing water? Don't worry, we can improvise. Survival is all about adaptability and using the resources available to you. There are several other ways to find water if streams or rivers are not an option. Look for depressions in the ground where rainwater might collect. These natural basins can hold water for days after a rainstorm. Always check the quality of the water before drinking and purify it if possible. Or try to collect morning dew from leaves using a cloth. Dew can be a surprisingly good source of water. Simply wipe the leaves with a cloth and then wring it out into a container. It might take some time, but every drop counts. Even the sap of certain plants can provide hydration in a pinch. Some plants store water in their stems or roots. Learn to identify these plants, as they can be lifesavers in a dire situation. Always be cautious and make sure the plant is not toxic before consuming its sap. Exposure to the elements can be brutal, so shelter is our next priority. Whether you're facing the scorching sun, torrential rain, or relentless wind, having a sturdy shelter can make all the difference in your survival. It's not just about comfort, it's about protection and safety. We need to create a safe haven, a sanctuary from the wind, rain, and sun. This shelter will be your refuge, a place where you can rest and recuperate. It's essential to have a space where you can feel secure and shielded from the harsh conditions outside. Begin by scouting out a suitable location. Ideally, you want somewhere sheltered from the wind, perhaps the base of a cliff or a dense thicket of trees. Look for natural features that can provide additional protection, such as large rocks or fallen trees. These can serve as natural barriers against the elements. Next, gather natural materials like branches, leaves, and vines. These materials are abundant in the wild and can be used to create a sturdy structure. Look for branches that are strong and flexible, leaves that can provide insulation, and vines that can be used to tie everything together. Use these to construct a basic framework for your shelter. Start by creating a solid base, then build up the walls and roof. Make sure the structure is stable and secure. You don't want it collapsing in the middle of the night. Remember, this doesn't need to be fancy. A simple lean-to or a debris hut will do the job. The goal is to create a space that can keep you dry and warm. Focus on functionality rather than aesthetics. The key is to create a barrier between you and the elements. A well-built shelter can protect you from rain, wind, and even the sun's harsh rays. It can also provide a sense of security and peace of mind, knowing that you have a safe place to retreat to. So take your time, use the resources around you, and build a shelter that will keep you safe and comfortable in the wild. Fire is more than just warmth. It's a beacon of hope, a signal for rescue, and essential for cooking food. In the wilderness, fire can be your best friend, providing light in the darkness and a sense of security against the unknown. The ability to start a fire is a fundamental survival skill that can make the difference between life and death. But starting a fire without matches or a lighter can seem impossible. Many people find themselves frustrated when their initial attempts fail. The key is to remain patient and persistent. It's not just about rubbing sticks together, it's about creating the right conditions for combustion. The key is to use friction. Friction generates heat, and with enough heat, you can create an ember. This ember is the starting point of your fire. The process requires the right materials and techniques. Not all wood is suitable for friction fire starting. You need dry, non-resinous wood. The bow drill method is a classic survival technique. It's been used for thousands of years by indigenous cultures around the world. The bow drill consists of a bow, a spindle, a fireboard, and a socket. Each component plays a crucial role in generating the necessary friction to create an ember. It involves spinning a wooden stick against a wooden board using a bow and socket. The bow allows you to maintain a consistent speed and pressure, which is essential for generating enough heat. The spindle should be straight and smooth, while the fireboard should have a notch to collect the ember. This takes practice and patience, but the reward is well worth the effort. The first few times you try, you might not succeed, but don't get discouraged. Each attempt teaches you something new about the process. Once you've got an ember, carefully transfer it to a tinder nest of dry grass, leaves, or bark. The tinder nest should be prepared in advance and kept dry. Place the ember in the center of the tinder nest and fold the material around it to shield it from the wind. Gently blow on the ember until a flame ignites. Blowing too hard can extinguish the ember, so use slow, steady breaths. Once you see a flame, carefully add small pieces of kindling to build the fire. Remember, fire needs 3 things: heat, fuel, and oxygen. This is known as the fire triangle. Without any one of these elements, a fire cannot sustain itself. Make sure your fuel is dry and your fire has enough airflow. Keep feeding your fire with small, dry twigs and gradually increase the size of the wood as the fire grows stronger. Start with thin twigs and work your way up to larger branches. This gradual increase ensures that the fire remains stable and continues to grow. Your stomach's probably rumbling by now, so let's talk about food. Remember, food is less of a priority than water and shelter in the short term, but finding sustenance is crucial for long-term survival. Look around you. The island is teeming with potential food sources if you know where to look. Edible plants, fruits, berries, insects, shellfish, and fish are all on the menu. However, be cautious. Never eat anything unless you are absolutely certain it is safe for consumption. When in doubt, leave it out. A good rule of thumb is to stick to things you've seen animals eat. Some safe plants to look for include dandelions, clover, and plantain. These are usually easy to identify and can be eaten raw or cooked. For fruits, bananas, coconuts, and papayas are often found on tropical islands. Make sure they are ripe and free from any signs of spoilage. Insects like crickets and grasshoppers are also edible and can be a good source of protein. Roast them over a fire to make them more palatable. Shellfish and fish should be cooked thoroughly to avoid any potential parasites or bacteria. Using a field guide can help you accurately identify safe food sources. Always double check before consuming anything. With the right knowledge and caution, you can find plenty of food to sustain yourself on the island. Never give up hope of being rescued, but to increase your chances, you need to make yourself visible. We need a signal that screams, "I'm here." The key is to create something big, bold, and impossible to miss. Find an open area on the beach or a high point on the island. Use rocks, branches, or brightly colored materials to create a large SOS signal on the ground. If you have a mirror or something reflective, use it to flash sunlight towards the horizon. This works best during the day when the sun is bright. At night, keep a large fire burning, as the flames and smoke will be visible for miles. Adding green leaves to your fire can create more smoke, making it more noticeable. The best times to signal are during the day with mirrors or bright materials, and at night with fire and smoke. Always choose a high point or an open area for maximum visibility. Survival isn't just about physical strength, it's about mental fortitude. Out here, your mindset is your most powerful tool. Meditation can help you stay centered and calm. Set small, achievable goals to keep yourself motivated and focused. Maintaining a routine can provide a sense of normalcy and control. It's easy to succumb to fear and despair, but you must fight those feelings. Hope and mental resilience are key. Take time to appreciate the beauty around you, the sound of the waves, the warmth of the sun, the vibrant colors of nature. These small things can make a world of difference in keeping your spirits high. While most islands aren't teeming with man-eating predators, it's essential to be aware of your surroundings and avoid any potential dangers. Before venturing into dense forests or exploring caves, make some noise to alert animals of your presence. Most will steer clear of you. If you do encounter a potentially dangerous animal, remember to stay calm. Don't turn your back on it or run away. Instead, make yourself appear larger by raising your arms above your head and making loud noises. Back away slowly and carefully. Remember, most animals are more afraid of you than you are of them. To create a safe sleeping area, build your shelter off the ground if possible, and use natural deterrents like thorny branches around your camp. Be particularly cautious of snakes, wild boars, and large birds of prey. Snakes often hide in tall grass and under rocks, while boars can be aggressive if provoked. Learn to identify animal tracks and droppings to understand which animals are nearby and their behaviors. Use fire and smoke as natural deterrents to keep animals at bay during the night. Necessity is the mother of invention, and out here on the island we need to get creative. Sharp rocks can be fashioned into cutting tools or spearheads. Sturdy branches become digging sticks or fishing spears. Vines can be woven into ropes or fishing nets. Look for rocks like flint or obsidian, which can be chipped into sharp edges. To make a knife, find a flat rock and chip away at the edges until you have a sharp blade. For a spear, select a sturdy branch and carve one end into a sharp point. You can also attach a sharpened rock to the end using vines for added effectiveness. To make a fishing hook, use a small bone or a piece of wood. Carve it into a hook shape and sharpen the point. Vines can be woven into a net for fishing or trapping small animals. Use your imagination and the resources around you to create the tools and weapons you need to survive. Remember, even a simple, sharpened stick can be an effective weapon for hunting or self-defense. Accidents and sudden weather changes can happen, especially in a survival situation. A basic understanding of first aid and emergency preparedness can be the difference between a minor mishap and a life-threatening situation. Learn how to treat cuts, burns, and bites. Know how to immobilize a broken bone using splints made from branches and vines. Create a basic first aid kit with essentials like bandages, antiseptic, and pain relievers. Also be ready to build an emergency shelter to protect yourself from sudden weather changes. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. Be careful when handling fire, using sharp tools, or exploring unfamiliar terrain. Survival is a marathon, not a sprint. It's crucial to conserve your energy and avoid overexertion. Prioritize essential tasks like finding water, building shelter, and gathering food. Don't waste precious energy on unnecessary activities. Take frequent breaks, stay hydrated, and listen to your body. Ration your food and water carefully to ensure they last longer. Avoid unnecessary physical exertion by planning your movements and tasks efficiently. Find ways to rest and recover, such as taking naps or finding a shaded area to relax. Remember, rest is just as important as action when it comes to long-term survival. So there you have it, your 10 essential tips for surviving on a deserted island. Remember, survival is about preparation, resourcefulness, and an unyielding will to live. Stay calm, stay positive, and never give up hope. And who knows, you might even start to enjoy your island adventure. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more survival tips.